Good evening and welcome to the Nighttime Heat, directed on Pram FM 105.5. This program is also relayed on Radio Gagema, that's in Nimba County, Radio Quatiket in Bon County, and Radio Wologisi in Lofa County. We are also relayed by Witness FM in parts of Monrovia. We are streaming live on our Facebook page. That is the Nighttime Heat Facebook page. Just make sure you go on your Facebook and where they have the search, you tap the three words Nighttime Heat. You're going to watch the show. And then you share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow the Nighttime Heat on this beautiful Friday. Besides, we are also streaming live on our YouTube page. Just go on your YouTube page where they have the search. Either you using your phone or your laptop, you tap three words Nighttime Heat, and then you follow. You subscribe, and then you hit the notification bell, and you follow the show. You watch the show, you follow the show. We are also streaming live tonight on Pram FM Monrovia 105.5. Again, Pram FM Monrovia 105.5. Tonight promises to be very, very interesting. It promises to be very, very informing, rewarding intellectually. I'm still awaiting my two panelists, George Kennedy and Moses Sandy. As soon as they come, we'll make sure we start the ball rolling. In the meantime, let me just give you a clue of what we'll be talking about. You know, over the past 24 hours, the government has been affecting a number of arrests and detention. Besides, the government has also been suspending government officials, current government officials. So we'll be trying to figure out, it's the fight, the GOL fight, the government of Liberia's fight against corruption. Is it a political witch hunt or an effort for transparency and accountability? That's the question we'll be answering tonight. Is the GOL fight a political witch hunt or an effort for transparency and accountability? That discussion promises to be very rewarding. Sabo George is my name. We'll be right back after the same.
Let's start.
Well, let's start the Nighttime Heat, and of course, we are starting tonight. The program is relayed on Radio Gagema, that is in Nimba County, Radio Quatiket in Bonk, and of course, with Radio Wologisi in Lofa County. We are also streaming live on Pram FM page, that is Pram FM Monrovia 105.5, and also streaming live on the Nighttime Heat Facebook page and the Nighttime Heat YouTube channel. Make sure to share the show because we have a lot in place. We'll be looking at the drama also, that earlier took place in the Granjida County. You're looking at the South Line, the activities of the South Line. I heard Joshua Bly, I hope I got the name right, famously known as Butt Naked, making some threats against Yeke Koluba, and then Yeke also pushed back on Butt Naked and said, "What I'm in your county, this county also is mine." We'll be playing that video so that you can take a look at that also. And of course, we'll be following and playing a couple of videos from the arrests of former Foreign Minister Kemayan and Mary Bro and the rest of them. Yesterday the government picked them up, and after 2-3 hours they were released. But the question is, the government has three major high-profile cases. Let me visit my note. Three major high-profile cases, and of course, let me name them for you. The case the government of Liberia versus Speaker Kofa, former Speaker Kofa rather, and other lawmakers. That's one case. And then the government of Liberia versus former former foreign minister, that's Kenya, another case, and of course, three major cases that the government has. And of course, also the government has a case against former finance minister Samuel Tuohy. So you see, three major cases that the government has. So we'll be looking at those cases. We'll be looking at the government's effort. Is it a political witch hunt, as authors who term it, or is it an effort for national for transparency and accountability? The government says it wants for people to be accountable. Is it against that backdrop that the government has launched those legal battles? So my partners and I, and of course, let me just give you a quick information about the panelists that are coming. They include Emmanuel Gonkwe. Gonkwe, is the CRC, that's the commander-in-chief of the Economic Freedom Front. You'll be on the show. Before then, he was part of the people who, in fact, launched the how you call them, the asset recovery team. He was part of that. So Emmanuel Gonkwe will be on this program. We'll have David Kori, could be a former lawmaker. We'll have Wanto also on this program, and of course, lawmaker, Montserrat County Representative Safoko. We're hoping that you'll be on this program also. The government's effort is the arrests and subsequent detentions and legal battles. Are they all part of witch hunt or effort for transparency and accountability? Let me welcome my co-hosts. Josh Kennedy has just arrived. I'm sure Moses Sandy should be also at the back. Okay, Josh, how you doing?
I'm okay, Saba. Thank you so much. And I want to say it's a pleasure to be here again. To make our input into whatever that will be discussed today.
Okay. I'm sure you've been following the drama, and that's the focus of our discussion between now and 8:30. The drama that occurred earlier in Grand Julia County, the drama that occurred earlier in Grand Julia County, that's involving the homegoing concerning the homegoing of the slain former Liberian president Samuel Doe. We heard about caskets being taken away. We don't know how true is that. Also, the activities on the margin of that. We saw political figures entering. We heard about, in fact, we'll have the video, we'll be playing it. We heard about some drama or accusations or threats between former Butt Naked, the man used to call Butt Naked, and Yeke Kolba. So let me try to play the Butt Naked clip quickly. Joshua Bly, let me put it that way. He's a reverend now, but he's famously known as Butt Naked. Let me play his tape quickly, and then later on, that of Yeke Kolba we'll start our discussion.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Wherever you are in the world, listening to me this morning. My name is Evangelist Joshua Milton Bly. Well, I came to Zwedru 3 days ago in preparation for a peaceful homegoing for a national hero that hailed from this beautiful and wonderful county. I don't like politicians and their manipulative mentors to gain relevance. I have always frowned against it, so I'm not speaking this morning as a politician. Yeke is a husband to one of us. He married the daughter of the foreign hero, one of our foreign hero, Honorable, in person of Honorable George Due. So he's supposed to be a brother-in-law to this county. Why I am here this morning is the fact that I have heard over and over Yeke threats on national government. He did it to past government. He's doing it again. One of the reasons why I don't have the moral right to confront or ask or advise Yeke Koluba is because in the past 6 years, we heard him say the same thing, and none of us as brother-in-law advised him. So to go advise him, you know, it sound like I'm a hypocrite, because why I did not advise him 6 years ago? However, his expression of hate for our president is concerning. When you look at the energy of hate, he expressed himself. I, as a man who have knowledge on security or on crimes, know that that is risky. Worst of all, our city Swedru is a small place. To see Yeke walking around with such amount of people, whether there are people committed to him or not, I see it risky. And I'm calling on the police, I'm calling on the AFL presence here. Let them have a presence behind Yeke. I'm going to give them some 20 to 30 minutes. If I don't see the presence of AFL or the presence of the media presence 20 minutes from now, I'm going to provide what we call citizen protection for my president. I'm going to jump in the...
Okay, he's Joshua Bly. He's a reverend, formerly he's formerly known as Bud Naked. He was there, issuing threats against Yeke Koluba. Let's try to hear from Yeke as well, and then we come back. You're listening to the Nighttime Heat. Again, please share the show wherever you are.
Born naked,
Share the show.
threatening to join back
Share the show so that
the police of Swedish City.
the friends
He
when it
said
comes
that
to
your
also follow.
presence here look threatening to the presidency.
You are talking to a former rebel general.
My man, myself forward, they say former rebel. Who gets keep only pocket business?
Yeah, but you are notorious more than you.
My man, you say he was notorious, fighting war and being. My man, when you fight war, you got to kill people. You think the gun will help like to give people tea to drink or to give people coffee to drink? It was not for giving people. So, upon naked hair gun, it was to kill people, because if your enemy see you fight, he will kill you. So he's not responsible for holding gun. I'm not also responsible for holding gun, but he can threaten me in Grange there. I'm more resident of Grange than him. You don't know that? You see me hiding myself? Oh, that job he won from Joseph Walker? No, but again, you see, Ofori did the same thing. When he recorded his own brother. When will we stop that kind of thing? When can we stop that kind of thing? Your own crime brother, you go record him, Ofori? Huh? But again, Joseph Walker can never get you job. Don't waste your time. He will never, you will waste your time to put that lie to you. So when you ready, come. I'm here. I got my people here. I got my supporters. They put Green that will deal with you.
Okay, so we listen to Yeke Koluba, but let me welcome Moses Sandy quickly. Moses, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Saba. It's good to be back. Thank you.
Okay. So the three of us, I'm sure Moses, you listen to Yeke Koluba, you listen to Bud Naked. That was on the margin of what happened in Grand Gila. But initially we heard about castle's been taken away to 2 zones. Some members said no, it shouldn't happen. But what have you been gathering? What's your own take about what's been happening, Josh? Let me begin with you.
As a matter of fact, there's a third video that came out from Mr. Milton Bly. And in that video, I saw him saying that Yeke has finally come down. He's on the run. He's not in Zouadrou again. If he's there, he's inhaling. So all of those things, I mean, for me, they are not necessary. First of all, Yeke went for funeral. If all he went for the funeral, he shouldn't be in a city with a group of people insulting the president, calling him their body president. That's not a political gathering. It was a day of mourning. He's an in-law from the county. I feel that he went there. He should have gone there to mourn. It's not campaign time. Mm-hmm. It's not a time for you to go attack the presidency outside of the seat of government. When the presidency goes outside for such program. So I think that's what prompted another ex-combatant in Mr. Bly to have come out to issue such threats.
Do you think that was quite necessary?
No.
Part of Bly?
No, I don't think so. And I thought that I trust the state security when it comes to something to know. They will handle anything if it observed that things were going on wrongly. I thought that Mr. Bly should have kept quiet. He gave relevance to someone who, in my view, should not have been given such relevance, because that alone will have led to chaos in the city. But thank God that everything subsided.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Moses, let's hear from you also. You've been following the drama from Grand Julia County. I'm sure you heard the video recordings of the two gentlemen, Joshua Bly and Yeke Koloba. What's your take?
Well, look, some of my own reading into this is that we still have a big problem, or a bigger problem in Liberia. The problem of rehabilitation of ex-combatants is something that we really need to ponder over as a country and make sure that those people who need help are given help. Liberia is a country of laws. The general, quote unquote, butt naked. He's a non-entity. He's a nobody. Who is he to tell another person that, hey, if you do this, I will deploy my men? What authority does he have? Is he telling us that he represents the police? Does he represent the military? Liberia has the armed forces of Liberia. We have the national police. Who is butt naked? What gives him the audacity that he say he's going to get in the street and say he will challenge somebody? In Liberia, there's what they call free speech. And let me say this: I have consistently told people, and if you do a research, you're going to see, Moses Sandy, I call for the expulsion of Yeke Koloba from the legislature, because I think this guy is mentally unstable. He lacks the pedigree. But that does not give General Butt Naked the audacity to talk about giving somebody 24 hours. Other than that, he will intervene. He's a nobody.
In fact, he said 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, he's a nobody.
Yeah.
We have police officers, George. I mean, where are we headed to as a country? I want to stop there. I think President Boubacar and our national leaders really need to put in place a structure to deal with these ex-combatants, because if you have Bob Naked making those kind of threats, what made you think that tomorrow you now have somebody coming from Yulimoke and start making threats?
Okay, so that was the situation today between the two former fighters, and I think, like you said, the both of you said that was totally uncalled for. I think we need to sustain this peace. Yeah. We are not prepared to run around anymore. And if I want to, call on the national government, if I thought they heard or they saw the video, they need to call, Joshua Bly to order. Because he went there basically and they see how he was dressed, like a militant. We far from that period anymore. If you went there with the notion or with the intention of protecting the president, he's not part of the security, the president's security details. No, he's not part of that. So you should have come up with any threats against Yeka. And besides, where Yeka is, he has not reached there. Yeka is a former, yes, Yeka is a lawmaker, and whatever he does, he takes responsibility. Yeka went in there, and like he said in his video, he said, well, I don't look for people. People do look for me. Now, I came and I'm riding with my friends, and somebody is threatening me. That was totally wrong on the part of Joshua Bly. We would, I'm hoping that if the president heard or he saw the video, or those close to the president need to call him to order. Don't do this when you follow the president, because whatever you do, it has a reflection, on the presidency. So you don't do that. Yeah,
and
Moses.
Okay, Moses coming. Yeah.
No, go ahead, George. Go ahead.
Okay.
I was listening.
And also to the honorable mayor.
Yeah.
You see, when you are elected, as Moses rightly said, I think he has a serious mental problem. He needs to be rehabilitated. You cannot be you cannot be all around raining insults at national leaders, even if you don't like them.
Yeah.
I used to say in the past, what Yeka is doing is wrong, even though some people saw themselves different side of the eye, and some of them were seeing him as being strong and opposing a sitting president. And the past government made a mistake 1 or 2 times by going to a house. They say they tried to enforce some arrest or whatsoever, led to him gaining some public sympathy. Right now, there is nothing of such. You cannot be walking on the street or across the country insulting the president.
Sure.
What he did was wrong.
Yeah,
He's
totally.
an honorable man. He should be honorable enough. And in fact, most often, this combative way of dressing and behaving, Moses said it, I think we need to carry that guy to some clinic. Yeah, he needs clinic also.
and gentlemen, in the same grand that we earlier heard about the issue of casket being taken away. I'm sure you heard that, George.
Yeah,
what did you hear from there?
Yeah, that was a drama in Granjida. And it was surprising. The video, one of the videos I saw, first of all, was one group of people, few others, went and demanded to carry the casket to Tucson. I was like, wow, this thing was not a one-day planning. The state been planning this thing for long. Did these people go behind the scene to discuss with the state that wanted to carry the former president to his hometown in Tucson? Why should they wait until the casket land in Granjida, in Zwedru, and then they demanding that the funeral should take, the burial should take place in Tucson? So when we heard that Senator Zoe Penner, it was alleged by Mami Joe that Senator Zoe Penner attempted, stealing away the casket to carry to Tucson, I was like, wow, then what is going on?
Yeah.
Because that casket, the entire program was no more a family alone program, was a state funeral.
Yeah, surely.
And, so how would someone try to escort with a casket to carry to another area? So it was conflicting until really we can get the information from there. But it is true, other people confirm it from there. But who was carrying the casket, still speculative.
So
Yeah, under my main name, Zoe Penner has been a culprit. But other than that, we haven't really getting any clarity. It's still confusing.
Moses, what did you hear from there also regarding the issue of casket being taken away?
Well, I read about it briefly. I was at work, just trying to keep in touch with what is happening. and I saw this thing about casket. Let me get look. Like George and you sober man. Look, I'm really hurt, and the unnecessary distraction regarding the funeral of Nancy Doe, initiated by Mami Doe, the division in the family. Let me give you guys some background information here. I had the opportunity last night. I watched a podcast on Spoon TV. Some of the children, the late President Doe, according to some of his children that were on Spoon TV last night, they said the man had 30 children. The Liberian government provided $130,000 to Mami Doe and the others for the planning of the funeral. Mami Doe, according to those other kids, Selu Doe and the others that are abroad, Mami Doe refused them the opportunity to participate in the dad's funeral. So we're talking about a deeper problem. Selu Doe and the others called last night. They said it was initially arranged that the father's remains would have been taken to Tucson for his people there to at least, welcome the body in the time before moving on to Dredru. And they said Mami Doe, the ambassador, the former Senate Pro Tem, Yenabo, they say Asa Yenabo then resisted the instigator that the body be taken strictly to Dredru. You see the internal rivalry, the infight. This has become a complete distraction nationally and locally. It's very shameful, guys. I don't think this is what the late Samuel Doe wanted. I don't think this is what the late Nancy Doe wanted. These people are making negative news every day. It's shameful, gentlemen. It's shameful to hear the casket being stolen. I just can't wrap my head around it. Let me stop there, guys. It's shameful.
Seriously. When I heard myself, I was shocked. I was, shocked because I don't think that should be happening, especially for the character of that, of such an individual, former president. I don't think that should have. But again, and all these things they reflect on the people of Grand G there.
Yeah.
Some will say, they controversial and all of that. That's totally bad. I thought they would have arrested all of that before all of those things, before even the funeral. They would have held a family meeting where maybe the Zoe Pennon, the Mami Doe, and the rest of the Does would have sat down to say, okay, this is the direction that the funeral would take. We're going to take the body soon, but they didn't do that. Instead, they triggered that sort of misunderstanding, characterizing the homegoing of their parents. That was totally not called for.
As a matter of fact, the president had to go to Tucson this evening as a means of stabilizing the situation, meeting the other family in Tucson, because it was a total embarrassment to the entire country, to the government. No need. I don't know how far they will go with this. I think the failure of the family to come together led to Mami becoming the lone warrior in between, and that's how now when the family is divided, if you see one person trying to take the lead, sometimes the person will make some mistakes, and sometimes they see themselves as heads and other things. So all of these things happening at this, necessary for the Doe family to try to handle this.
Okay, so you're listening to the Nighttime Heat right here on Prime FM 105.5. This program is also being relayed by Radio Gegema in the Nimba County, Radio Kwatika in Bon County, and Radio Wulagisit in Lofa County. We are streaming live on our Facebook page. That is the Nighttime Heat Facebook page. And also streaming live on our YouTube channel. Share the show. We want you to share the show so that your friends and relatives and loved ones can also follow what is happening tonight. We are also streaming live on Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. Again, Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. Tonight we try to figure out the government's intent the true intent of the government's fight against corruption. Some politicians are claiming, that the fight is just a political hunt. Is it a political hunt, or is it an effort for transparency and accountability? That's our discussion tonight. And of course, our guest will include Mr. Emmanuel Gonkwe. Gonkwe is the CRC of the Economic Freedom Fighter. What is still the CRC? He will be telling us as soon as he joins us. We also have Wanto Tia Wanto and David Cody. They all will join us. I'm sure our guests are already online. We're expecting Representative Safoko. Safoko has not joined here. We still expect him. So let me ask you, George and Moses, to welcome our guests. They are already online. So I don't know if you can take the.
Okay, so I want to welcome Tia Wanto and the rest of the team. My boss, Honorable Gonkwe, and I want to say that we'll be listening to your contribution. We will be asking some questions. We'll be making some input if necessary. So you are welcome again.
And Moses, you can welcome them.
So, yeah, I would like to join our Sabbath and my friend and brother Kennedy, Mr. Kennedy, to welcome all of you tonight. I hope that this discussion is going to put Liberia first. Let's put our personal egos behind us. That our discussion today will make the case for Liberia. Is this a fight against corruption, dishonesty, malfeasance, or is it that a group of people have decided to wish on another group of people? If that is the case, let us make the case and let us be genuine about it. So, on behalf of the team, I want to welcome all of our guests, and I'm sure you guys are going to do a very good job tonight. Thank you.
Okay, Moses, thank you, and Josh, thank you. Again, we want to welcome the three of you. Okay, to understand, Imaya on. Want to welcome Imaya Gonkwe, David Kuri on. Okay, we're still expecting Wanto Tia Wanto. As soon as he comes on, we'll make sure to include him on the list. We're still awaiting Safoko to join us. So again, Imaya Gonkwe and David, each of you, let's just get your acceptance comments on this program.
Well, Sobo George and Mr. George Kenlenden, as well as Moses, I want to say good evening, and good evening to fellow Liberians. I'm excited to be on your show. This is my debut. Look forward to a productive conversation. Thank you so much.
Okay, Dave.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Let me say many thanks to you for always allowing me to be on your show. The Nighttime Hit is a real hit. It's a very good show. And I'm very happy to be sitting with my old good friend, Mr. Gonkwe. We have been friends for more than 10 to 20 years now. Mr. Gonkwe, it's a privilege being with you tonight on the show. Thank you.
Thank you, big brother.
Okay, so we still expect Wanto Tia Wanto. As soon as Wanto joins us, we'll make sure we'll get him on the program as well. Again, listeners, please share the show. We want you to share the show. We have this major article that I want to start with quickly. Let's try to upload this article. It's quite important that we begin our discussion with this article. I'm going to read this article quickly, and then we start the discussion of the program. This article is quite important. Okay, Wanto Tia Wanto is on. Wanto, let's welcome you.
Hey, Sabo, a great pleasure to be back. Hey, Moses, Josh, Emmanuel Gonkwe, and David Curtis. Incredible privilege to be back here. Now, looking forward to an exciting conversation tonight.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much for coming. Please share the show. We want to share the show that you had the tail one. But let's begin the show with this article, and then later on we played a video. The police raid on former President Salib's home sparks outrage, accusation of government overreach. Okay, so let's begin this article written by the Report Liberia, and of course we'll have some video to that effect. In a stunning and controversial move, officers of the Liberia National Police, the LNP, stormed the private residence of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf early this morning, that's yesterday, to arrest her long-term ally and housemate Mary T. Bro, igniting a wave of outrage over what critics say is a blatant abuse of power and a violation of established legal norms. The unannounced raid took place at Madam Sirleaf's Fitch Market compound in Cinco, where Bro resides. Bro was taken into custody in connection with a high-profile corruption probe involving the alleged diversion of nearly 30,000 bags of rice donated by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for disaster victims. The police did not seek prior notice or consent from the former president, according to multiple diplomatic and legal sources, sparking sharp condemnation from civil society groups and senior international observers. This is not just a legal misstep, it's an attack on Liberia's democratic dignity, said a diplomatic source familiar with the matter. You don't violate the home of a former head of state without coordination, especially one globally recognized for her service to peace and governance. Okay, so let's leave it at that and play the tape when the government arrested Mary Bro, Kemoyan, and the rest of them and took them to the court. Let's look at that video quickly, gentlemen. Okay. Okay, so that was just a short video clip showing the three individuals being taken to the criminal court. Gentlemen, the government has three major cases, which we all know, and those cases include the government of Liberia versus three major high-profile cases: the government of Liberia versus Fonanti Kofa and other lawmakers; the government of Liberia versus Samuel Twe, former finance minister; and the government of Liberia versus the latest case, which is Kemoyan and Mary and others. Three major high-profile cases. First, let's get your take, because we're trying to figure out here that has been some reactions to the government's corruption fight. Some are saying it's politically motivated because the way it's being done, it's political witch hunt. Some said, well, it's an effort for transparency and accountability. But let's hear your take first from the previous story I read, written by Report Liberia, regarding the arrest of Mary Bro and others yesterday from the home of the former president. What's your take? Let's hear from you first, Mr. Gonkwe.
Well, thank you, George. Thank you to all the panelists. Well, sorry, I'm out of the country, and I'm sitting in a very uncomfortable position, so I'll be
No
shifting
problem.
left and right. Um, the first thing, let us establish the fact that Liberians over the years, um, in the politics of our country, has been interested in we as Liberians been interested in combating impunity, ensuring that people account, for their actions, because all of us believe that part of the reason why Liberia is where Liberia is today is because of rampant corruption, use of power, promotion of impunity, and that's why Liberia is where Liberia is today. So it is important for us as Liberians, regardless of the political backgrounds we come from, the religious background we come from, our affiliations, our family members, it's important for us to begin a new path to fighting corruptions, a new path to discouraging impunity, a new path to building a country that is based on a rule of law. So I think it is a good thing for us to begin to promote rule of law in a country because this way we create a possibility of building investor confidence because in a global sense of business, before global corporations and entity even express a desire to do business in a particular country, they look at the security, the judicial, credential of that particular country is key. It's one of the key things that they look at in terms of how they desire to invest in a particular country. So it's a good thing, for us Liberians to begin to push for accountability. It's a good thing for us to begin to push for rule of law. How we pursue that is the major talking point that we have to look at.
Okay. So how we pursue that is the major talking point. But you didn't make any comment regarding how the arrest was done yesterday from the home of the former president.
Well, so I'm one of those who believe that the police is the people property. I believe that we should not politicize the police. I believe because in the rest of the other country that some of us have traveled to, we see the police as being very independent because they are the first responders in terms of how we have access to justice. In fact, when the student protest occurred, that was just a few months back, and there were a lot of hate on students and all of that. I was one of those who said the police erred. The way in which the police handled the students were very wrong, because this is something we criticized over years, and I cannot be a part of a system, that will repeat the mistake of the past. We never join any situations of any government to repeat the mistake of the past. Now, I will be very interested. Like I said, I'm out of the country. I will be very interested in seeing, what mechanism did the police use to go to the former president's house? Because in my little understanding, it makes no sense, without any search and seizure warrant, that the police would just open the doors of the former president or the home of the former president, enter the former president premises to arrest a particular person. More to that, if the police is interested in arresting Madam Mary Broad, considering considering the profile of the former president, considering the status of the former president, I think they needed to exercise some level of respect, for the former head of state. To have just gone to the former head of state and arrest somebody in the manner in which they did. I'm interested in knowing the procedure. I'm interested in knowing what kinds of legal mechanism did they put in place in order to just move into the former president house to have Mary Broad arrested. I'm not saying it's wrong thing to have Mary Broad arrested. No. Mary Broad and all other people, the guy have said consistently, Nobody should be bigger than our law. Because even in the great United States that we modeled our democracy after, we saw Donald Trump, a former president, being arrested and taken to court. So no former president, no former speaker, nobody for that matter, no former government official should be above the law. So the police have the right to arrest anybody when they are probable cause, but I would just be interested in knowing how and what kind of legal mechanism did they put in place to allow them to enter the former president's house. Because you have to understand, this is the former president of the Republic of Liberia homes. To just bust into that home and arrest somebody, I need to know, what kinds of legal mechanism did they put in place before that arrest.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gonkwe. We'll come back to you, but let's hear from Mr. David Coty, and before we can hear from tier 1 to tier 1 to Dave. Let's hear from you also. Your introductory remarks first concerning the way the police went to the home of the former president to effect the arrest. We want to hear from you.
Okay, thank you. As one of the signatories to the peace accord in Accra, Ghana, I still think that we should maintain peace in this country. We should maintain peace in this country. And one way to maintain peace is to put a stop to impunity. Maybe the only reason why people look at the police differently here because it is a former president's home. But the police went to Kimiya's home and collected him from there, went to other places and collected people. So I don't see why we should make this case so special. Not about former president. This same former president fought against corruption in this country. Now, let me come to something quick. When I was a commissioner at the Governor's Commission, I was privileged to attend a meeting in Maryland, the USA. It was the meeting, the conference in 2005. During one of our breaks, the Liberian called Dwe, I think it was from Nebraska or somewhere, one of the states, sat by me at a coffee table and asked me one major question. The question was, my man Coty, what is our major problem in Liberia that is keeping us backward today? And I said to him, we do not have God-fearing leaders. He said, you may be right, but I have a different view. I think we don't have God-fearing voters. Our problem is not with the leaders, but the voters, even those who claim to be highly educated. Yes, I'm saying this because we celebrate criminals. Somebody jokingly said the other day on Truth FM, if you want to win election in this country, be a liar and be a criminal. And it seems to be true. Because most people support people, even if they know that those people are unfit and criminal-minded, but they vote for them, they campaign for them, and preach for them simply because of one thing. That is to get a job after they win, and if they win, that's all. You know, there's think about this. There's a term called quid pro quo, where you do something for something. Most people who support these people that they don't even believe in do that because they want something at the end of the day. Now, I think we should give this government a chance. I can boastfully tell anybody the coming in of Joe Boakai as president of this country was by divine intervention. God himself participated in this election.
Okay.
There's
okay.
Power. Okay.
So, Mr. Coty, in essence, you are saying that the alleged unannounced visit of the police to the home of the former president was appropriate.
Well, I will not use the word appropriate or unappropriate. What we need to do is to find out from the police how it happened. Maybe the police had a warrant, but we just conclude on everything. This is wrong. The police shouldn't have done this. Let's find out from the police, first of all, how it happened. They may have informed the former president. The former president is a very good friend of mine. She and I worked together as commissioners of the Governance Reform Commission before she became president. In fact, she permitted me to go and represent the commission in the United States. So she's a good friend of mine. I respect her. But let's find out from the police how it happened. We shouldn't just sit here and conclude the police was wrong. They jumped into the lady's house, our former president's house. Let's leave this former president thing out. We're talking about fighting corruption here now. This impunity got to stop. It
Okay,
doesn't-
let's hold it there.
So let's
Let's
find out
hold it
how it
there.
happened. I will
Okay.
not judge the police until I find out how it happened.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cody. Let's read it and hear from one to tier one to quickly. One. The first want to hear from you. On the way the police performed when they went to arrest Mary Bro. Let's hear from you relative to that.
Great. Like I always like to present, begin my, analysis with some existing tools that are visible as possible. So I don't know if you've read the 2024 Human Rights Situation Report on the current status of human rights in our country right now. Part of that report, at the core of that report, provide an alarming pattern that is very critical for this conversation. That is state security brutality. In fact, the report states that in most excessive terms, the use of force by the Liberia National Police have led to the tragic death of a 17-year-old student, a police officer. Hello?
Hello?
So what we're seeing here is first we established by pattern of existing report by the Independent Human Rights Commission that the police is being used as a force of brutality against peaceful citizens. The Hello?
Mr. Kofi. Hello? We get
But someone has to mute his self.
you have to mute yourself, please. Okay, so you can go ahead now. You can go ahead, one, two.
So there is a perilous authoritarian drift that is unfolding in Liberia, and this is clogged in a retreat of reform. What we're seeing here is a crisis completely. President Barker has calculated deployment of state security as the architect instrument of intimidation tactic. In its greater form, also is political retribution. I do not think this entire process is a path to reconciliation in this country. And we can provide a timeline of weaponized justice on President Barker. We know the capital arson case, where we saw in its form and manners that.
Yes, go ahead. Hello?
They speak to legitimate lawmakers were already.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
By verdict.
Hello? One, two? But it seems that we have a little problem. One, two?
Yeah, 1, 2.
Okay, so you're listening to the Nighttime Heat right here on the Prime FM 105.5. This program is also being relayed by Radio Geman in Nima County, Radio Kwatika in Bonk, and Wologisit in Lofa County, also relaying this program. I want to Tia is back. Hello, Tia?
Yeah, are you hearing me? Yeah, I'm so
okay,
sorry.
yes, go ahead quickly. Mm-hmm.
Great. So we can definitely provide a weaponized cases of judicial, state police brutalization by the president. We know the capital arson case of political targeting of former speakers and opposition lawmakers, even at the detriment of the violation of Article 21D of the Constitution. We saw also, the cases of alleged beating and coercion by capital fire suspects. We saw that as well. We saw even the Christian Kofa disappearance. A man who allegedly disappeared from the police here without any trace. A violation of Article 6 and 7 of the RCCPR. So again, we established this fact because this is not coming from Wonto. Day before yesterday, I only called someone said, "Oh, Eric Wonto doesn't see anything good with the government." State report is providing a case scenario where police is being used as a weaponization against our justice system. And
okay, so let's look at the situation at the home of the former president because we want others to come in quickly.
Yeah, I mean, the reality here is not just the home of the former president. I don't want us to lay there on the scenario that when you are the home of the former president, that means a safe haven for an arrest. We are speaking more primarily on the fact that state police by the Independent Human Rights Commission have been highlighted in that report as an extreme weaponization against our justice system. They're being used as a police state for political retribution purposes. Detention at even our prison is being done without even fair and balanced process according to our rule and law. We saw that at the CDC party headquarters, where partisans were being brutalized by the very police. We saw that when President Weah came from France with his wife, we had the AFL being deployed at the airport without any justification. And we know in our constitution, before the AFL has been deployed at the airport, there must be, some high level command from the president. We can list cases. So the reality here is the idea is not the former president house. It's not a safe haven for anyone. The point here is the police is documented on record for being used as a weaponization of our justice system for political retribution and against state innocent civilians.
Okay, so let's hold it there. Let me read this story. I think it came up. It has come up before I can go to my co-hosts Moses and George to come in quickly. Let's read this story. President Boakai is angry with timing, manner of arrest in asset recovery effort. You see, the president is not happy with that. He's pissed off. Let's read this quickly. The Liberian Post has been very credibly informed that the president, His Excellency Joseph Yuma Boakai, is pissed off with Councillor Edwin Clark Martin over the timing and manner of the arrest of former government officials as it relates to Arab activities on Thursday, June 27, 2025. Yesterday, the Asset Recovery and Property Retrieval Task Force of the Liberian government, headed by Martin, along with officers of the Liberian National Police, stormed the homes of certain former government officials to effect arrest. Their action follows a detailed investigation into the illegal handling and diversion of over 29,000 bags of rice donated by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So the news here is that the president is now quite pleased and happy with Clark Martin. That's what the people is reporting. But let's hear from you, George Kennedy. I'm sure you have your question, and then we'll come to Moses Sandy.
Yeah, probably there will be some credibility in our report for the fact that why did you wait? The president leaves Monrovia and goes to Grand Judah for the funeral. While he's there, you just move in, you start incarcerating people, arresting people. We saw this sometimes in the past during the military regime. Mm-hmm. When they say president is traveling, you have to start worrying about some people. So sometimes it turned out to be true that yes, those presidents really gave instructions. But what my self-gathering is that while it is true that some of these cases may be genuine enough, it was better for the president to be on the ground. Now, as one was saying, probably not all of the actions the state security act based on the law. Not all of the actions that the president has to sanction to say go and do it. If they see genuine documents from the court to go and enforce, that's the law. The police will go enforce it. Police can enforce an arrest based on warrant from the court. They don't need the president to say go and do that. Once that document is genuine from the court, you can go and enforce the law. But I thought that the president should have been on the ground. I thought that somehow this news is not strange to me. Probably something like this would have come up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Moses, question or comment?
Well, yeah, my comment would be this. Look, I, like most Liberians, applaud the ongoing fight against malfeasance in the public sector. But the problem I have, and I'm sure most of you here will agree with me, is how the asset recovery team is proceeding, especially the situation yesterday. We now know whether the former president was given prior notice. Was there anything called search and seizure warrant? Was she elected? And look, guys, we have to be human here. Somebody who serve at that level of leadership to just wake up in the morning and our entire compound is invaded by police officers. That raises a lot of questions, you know. Was she given prior notice? If she was given prior notice, what did she do to prevent her home from being invaded by police officers? And based on the story that you just read, Sober, I strongly want to believe that President Baka himself is upset that people just decided to go and invade the home of the former president. I'm just being hypothetical here. Based on that story, I assume the president is not happy with the way things happened yesterday. I mean, you can't do that to a former leader. Let's assume that Mary Bro was running away and she was in that residence. There got to be legal basis. I think the police proceeded wrongly. If there's no such a seizure warrant, then the police proceeded wrongly. The former president is not an accused. It is someone who is alleged that, hey, this person committed a crime. You elect the former president. That's how it goes. So I'm disappointed.
Saba, may I come in briefly? Hello?
Mr. Koti?
Go ahead, Mr. Koti.
Go ahead.
Okay, let's not keep saying the president's residence was attacked or this. No. I know that home very well. I've been there 1,000 times. Mrs. Braw or Miss Braw does not live in the house where the president lives. No. She lives around the same area, not in the same house. Now, for people to keep saying the police went and broke into the president's house, no.
The same fence, right? In the same fence.
In the same fence, yes. It's in the same fence, but not in the same house. Two different houses, far apart. I know where Mary Broad lives, and I know the president's house. I visited the two people 1,000 times. So it is not in the president's house that somebody went and broke through. Let's make that clear. Thank you.
Lord Saba, quickly, let me just say something. Mr. Koti, as a former lawmaker, we're all courtesy to you when we say premises. That includes your fence. It is your compound. If you have 10 houses in that compound, that form part of what? Your premises. So to wake up in the morning while in your compound and you see one of your houses being invaded by a police officer, we're not talking about a janitor. We're talking about a former president, Republic of Liberia. And you're trying to justify that? Mr. Koti? Are you justifying that?
Let me say this to you. This is not about justification here. It's about the facts. I live in a compound here with 2 houses. I do not have renters in the other one. I don't want any renter here. But just in case, if I were to have renters in my other building, and somebody in that house, the renters there did wrong, and the police decided to come and arrest them, they're not going to say because this is a former lawmaker's home, let's approach him first. That's not the point here. And let me make this clear. The executive is different from the judiciary. For people to say, the president should have known or given instruction. No, this matter is in court already. Let the court people do their job. It doesn't matter what premises. That's not the point. No, if the president, I'm very sure. Just 1 minute, please. I'm very sure if the journalists will approach Mrs. Sully about the incident, she will approve it. She will say, "Well, it's the people's job. Let them do their work." So nobody got, look, let's leave the former president thing here, man. I beg you. Let's jump to something else.
Okay, now again, you're listening to the Nighttime Heat right here on Prime FM 105.5. This program is also being relayed on Radio Gagama in Nima, Radio Kwatika in Bonk, and of course, Radio Wilgisit in Lofa County. We are streaming live on our Facebook page. That's the Nighttime Heat Facebook page, and also on our YouTube channel. We are streaming live. We are also streaming live on Prime FM Morovia 105.5. Share the show. We have a lot to talk about. Our guests are all in very high spirit, and they are all well versed to discuss the issue. Now, gentlemen, let me ask. Transitioning from the residence of the president. We've just heard that. We just read again this report that the president is not quite happy with the way the gentlemen, are proceeding. Climating its course. But let me hear from you, Mr. Gonkwe. You are once with the arrests, people, and you quoted. Do you think they are proceeding well with the whole asset recovery effort? Let me hear from you. You were there before.
On mute.
Yes, on mute, please.
Mr. Gonkwe, please unmute your mic.
Yes, so I did already.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, we are getting you now.
So, Mr. George, let's do this. Before I answer your questions, want to say something that I need to clarify quickly. I don't think that there is a police state. I don't want us to live with the notion that the Bouakai administration has created a police state and that the police is being used as a weapon, to suppress ordinary citizens and peaceful citizens. No. I think the police is just being used to perform their duty. And I'm also aware that there's no country on earth, that we have a clear independent report that shows that no violations of human rights have occurred. Even the Western world that my dear brother want to live, there are hundreds of millions of misuse of powers. Human rights report. People are taking guns from one point to another, shooting people, walking in school, shooting people, and we see that on the television every day. So there's no country in the world that can boast of 100% human rights record. No country in the world. So Liberia is not going to be an exception. I don't believe that we have a police state. I think he's overemphasizing, the whole issue of police state. Let's look at the intent. What do we want to achieve as a country? The intent of trying to prevent impunity in a country, I think it's something that all of us need to echo. If we want a better for Liberia, we need to begin to echo the fact that we must combat impunity. It is impunity, the corruption we talk about in the country. We can never fight corruption without addressing, these cultural impunity issues that we have handled over years. We must begin to fight corruption by dealing with impunity. Now, to come to the whole issue of asset recovery, I was asset recovery team. I resigned. However, you remember when we arrested the Grisha Ra, the level of criticism that came towards me, particularly that we never provided for Grisha Ra any form of courtesy, any form of due diligence. We never allowed them to be questioned. We never invited them to question them. The entire investigation, we were criticized for the procedures in which, or the manner in which we handled the Grisha Ra's issue. The way in which Clark Martin and his team proceeded with this particular rights investigation can be compared to the similar action that I applied and got criticized on the Gresham Ride issue. If you see, the asset recovery has a quasi judicial power.
Mhm.
We needed, I mean, they needed to have invited um, the people mentioned in the arrest to ask them, have a documentation of querying them, bringing them. That's why, when the asset recovery team was set up, the police was represented on the asset recovery team. In fact, in the initial stage, we said that the GSE needed to be represented, the LCC needed to be represented, so that you don't arbitrarily just arrest people, but you will allow the investigator. In fact, the police was not just represented by the police, the Economic Crime Division of the Liberia National Police, was represented. I don't know if they still have that format. So that before we apprehend somebody or before we go to court, the Economic Crime Department of the Liberia National Police will have done sufficient investigations and detail the crime, so that when you go to court with a particular person being accused of committing a crime against the state, there will be sufficient and probable cause to have that person arrested. I do not think they apply that same procedures in the case of the rights. However, if the intent get me right, if the intent is to prevent corruption, if the intent is to fight the whole cultural impunity issue we have, it is supported by me. But if they circumvented the procedure, then it appeared that maybe Clive Martin being, in the previous government, the way in which he was treated, then he will want to vent out his anger to pay debt. That's why when I resigned from the asset recovery team, I recommended to His Excellency the President that it was important and fundamental for the asset recovery team to be reconstituted, so that this whole issue of Clamatin wanting to vent out his anger because of the way he was treated by the previous regime will completely diminish and will completely be removed from the conversation of going after people who are committing crimes against the state. I continue to say it is a good thing, even if George Weah, like I posted a few days ago, I said, even if George Weah himself is mentioned into any form of corruption, George Weah, as a former president, is not above the law. He must be arrested. He must be given the due process. He must be queried. He must be investigated. If Even if he has to go to jail, he must go to jail because nobody is above the law. Each and every one of us in public space must be accountable to the people of Liberia. But
So if I was, let me just come in. Let me just come in, Mr. Gonkwe. Two things I gather from you. One, you said the manner in which the steps taken, in fact, by the asset recovery team a few days ago is similar to the steps that you all took in the gracious ride issue, right? And so you were criticized. Now, if that is the case, and hearing from you, you also indicated that you wanted the president to reconstitute the team, and as we speak, the team is still headed by Clamati. So, if I will just deduce from you, it means that the asset recovery team is not proceeding well. In another word,
well, I continue to say if. That's why I say if. If I continue to
but the
say
team is not constituted. The team is not reconstituted, which you
if,
know.
no, the team is not reconstituted. I'm talking about the procedures, the procedure of arrest.
But you were also pushing for the reconstitution of the team.
Oh yeah, I'm still pushing for the reconstitution of the team. I still believe that Councillor Claude Martin should be replaced. If we need to have an
Now,
asset,
in addition to that, because we followed, part of reason for which you also left the team was it had to do with some financial issues, right? Want to be specific on the show tonight.
to say Claude Martin lacks the credibility to lead the asset recovery team. I continue to say that. He lacks the credibility to lead. He lacks the technical know-how to lead. He cannot lead the asset recovery to success. I continue to encourage the president to replace Claude Martin if and only if we are very much determined to fight corruption, fight impunity, and investigate people. Because remember, Claude Martin and the rest of the other people in the CDC have the torso when he was at LCC. There is this belief that Claude Martin is using the asset recovery to vent out his anger, to revenge against people in the CDC for what happened to him. So, in order for us to not dilute this agenda of fighting impunity and fighting corruption, there are a lot of professional people in Liberia, a lot of lawyers, a lot of independent people. We need to replace the asset recovery team. But I'm saying to you, the procedure on which Claude Martin arrested these former government officials. If Claude Martin did not, and support, you need to be very attentive to what I said. When the president constituted the asset recovery team, we had the police economic crime division represented on the asset recovery team. We reached out to LACC to have a group of investigators on the asset recovery team. The reason why that was important is because we never wanted the situations of going to court without evidence against people. So if Claude Martin and the current team of people at the asset recovery team did not invite these government officials to query them and document them, I don't see which evidence are they going to produce in court. If the police is not involved to query these people and do proper investigation, I don't know which evidence they are going to present in court. So I'm a little
May I come in a little bit?
I'm a little bit cautious of how they are proceeding, given the situations with the gracious rat.
Okay.
We went to court, fasted, and
Okay.
May I come in?
Okay, let's read it. Come in.
Okay, thank you. I'm not going to dwell on credibility here of the Martin group. I think all of the people are working, they're doing their very best. Even you, when you were there, you did the right thing. I was one of those who approved your step when you talk about the gracious right. This thing about corruption is not a church matter. It is not a church matter. It got to be fought the real way. But let me just remind one too about what a real police state has been. 3 men got missing from this country. Whether they were killed or what, we don't know. But when the parents, relatives, wives, children, and mothers of those people went to the St. Moses Funeral Home, where they thought their children were taken before taken out of here, the police went there and tear gassed the people. That was a police state. You know what I hear about this country? It's almost like what happened in the case of Kabina Janneh. When Kabina Janneh was removed illegally because he had a different view about something, nobody saw rule of law. But today, the president must follow the rule of law. Look, I don't like this kind of behavior. If you didn't see it yesterday, don't see it today. Now, 3 auditors died in this country during your regime. Since that time up to today, no one has been arrested. So which state is the police state? Because somebody went to recover assets and arrested people, the police state. People die here. 3 major important people. 3 important people die in this country. Who was the first to come out to play joke out of it? The president. I heard that they were having boyfriend and girlfriend. Hey man, you are the president of the country. How can you be the first to speak in that demeaning manner? I heard that they were having boyfriend and girlfriend. Who will be having no hotel in this country?
Mr. Cody, you
No, man,
spoke about it.
Let me let me have the luxury of time to respond to that. And this is interesting as possible. I was waiting for that punchline from Mr. Koti. You know what is very critical here is that this current regime spent almost 4 years campaigning on the very propaganda that he's laying out. Missing auditors, children die as in Moses, extreme human rights violation. Almost 2 years. What's stopping the regime from prosecution? Almost 2 years. You have the opportunity, you have the legal, you argue that you have all of the justification, you have the evidence, you done your investigation, and you can be able to prove it. You spend almost 2 years without prosecution. It is completely a slap and hypocrisy in extreme manner display on this platform that a lot of Librarians are listening to today. So the key question is, Mr. Koti, I'll give you a few minutes to respond to that. What's stopping the regime from investigation? You said auditors there. You said missing children from St. Moses. I too am very much interested in the investigation process. I'm concerned as someone who listened to that propaganda that brought you into governance today. I'm very concerned why we don't have investigation. So Mr. Cody, please explain why we don't have investigation. Why is it we don't
There
have
comes from,
what is very critical to note before you come about is
no,
that
let me come in. You asked me to come in. Let me come in.
before you come
You asked me to come in.
NAMA report recently, it said that there is zero persecution under this government. Zero persecution. All the flamboyancy we're seeing were arrests. Zero persecution under this government, almost 2 years. So we are not just saying this.
Uh-huh.
I'm going back to you. What
With
is
all of
Hello.
the,
Want to?
okay, let me come in. Let me come in.
Just for information to you on that, quite recently, I think a few months ago, or a few weeks ago, the president instructed the police to go back to those cases that you people are debating right now to investigate them. Okay, so
it's just 2 months that the president interested in investigation.
You have said yes. You have said yes. And you don't
excuse
nothing.
me.
It must be disgraceful that Koti will be on the national platform laying out the same propaganda. That's the point. You should have no right to say that. This is extreme hypocrisy.
May I come in? May I come in?
In 2 months,
You're trying to do
the president just said
You're trying to do this for the point here. May I come in? Mr. Wonto, may I come in, please?
Mr. Koto, Koti, let one to learn.
Yeah, please.
But remember, this is a hero. This is a nighttime hero. This is not a church building.
The second part is
but let them learn. So understand. We understand the debate well.
The second part in this is and I applaud obviously the idea of accountability. But if you deflect accountability on the layers of presumptive of justification without any evidence, it becomes terrible. Listen, let me tell you, I was listening for that justification because I wanted him to lay out if I'm part of a regime that campaigned robustly on the accountability process on our previous regime and stated that you have extreme evidence to this point, and you still want to use that on our regime. Who have the governance authority? The very regime you are campaigning for on this media have the governance authority, and you sit here to say honor your regime.
Say something, please.
This happened. So for me, I'm
Yeah, let me just ask something quickly before you.
I come in Moses. David Cody comes in quickly, and then you can.
I beg you, just quickly. I'll ask something quickly. Mr. Wonton, you got the point clearly. You just want to dodge it. We are not talking about this government not investing. It's going to happen. We got a long way to go. It's going to happen. I am saying to you, during your 6 years, 3 people got missing. What did you do about it? Up to today's date, no arrest. Don't worry, we investigated. The president has already authorized the police to do so. It's going to happen. The auditors who died, not one person was arrested. You didn't do anything about it. That's the point I'm making. Forget about this government. We're coming. We're grabbing people one by one. But in the meantime, my point to you is, you didn't do anything about it at the time. But you made mockery out of it. To see a whole president talking about people were having, who have been playing boyfriend and girlfriend with sand all around their bodies. Sand from the beach. Where? No hotel in this country?
Okay, Mr. Cody, Mr. Cody made a point. Let's hear from Moses Sandy quickly. Moses.
Yeah, what I want to say here is that, and Honorable Koti, as I listened to you, you were making this moral equivalence. You know, when I talk about rule of law, you say, oh, it happened during the we administration. So we are doing this, we are doing that. But hey, when Mr. Walker and the Unity Party people, when they were campaigning, they referred to themselves as the rescuer, meaning that they came to save lives. So if anything that happened in the past before that was ugly, you cannot repeat the same problem. When someone raises the red flag, then you try to raise the issue of moral equivalence. Oh, it happened in the past. It happened in the past. No, we should not make reference to the past. We should make reference to what is happening now. Because if you try to do this comparison that you did it before, so it means that we can do it now, then it means that we're not going to go nowhere. The issue of rule of law, it has to cut across. We cannot be doing this on a selective basis. I strongly support President Boakai. I want to see all individuals linked to acts of dishonesty in our country held accountable. However, we have to do this by respecting the rights of people, giving people due process, and not treating other people as if they say they are less of human beings. And these are some of the things that are happening. Take, for example, the guy who helps Claremonton, who helps the asset recovery thing. There are reports about dishonesty at the very asset recovery. His colleagues, Emmanuel Gonkwe and the others, call on the president, say, Mr. President, we cannot continue to work with this man because he has a questionable character. There are issues regarding financial malpractices, alleged financial malpractices. It is often stated in the legal world that he who comes to equity must come with clean hands.
Yes.
You can't be coming after Moses and he's Moses and he is a criminal when you yourself you have something in the closet. No, it doesn't work like that. So I agree with everyone, including President Baka, who is saying that hey, Mamekla, the way you proceeding is wrong. We need to get to the bottom of this thing. The president must make sure that the whole dark cloud hanging over Claremonton and the asset recovery thing, that dark cloud is removed. If Clark is the wrong person, if Clark is the wrong face, then he has to go. That would be my advice.
Okay, you're listening to the Nighttime Heat right here on Prime FM 105.5. Again, you can share the show, try to share the show so that your friends, your relatives, and loved ones, your partners can also follow what's happening tonight on the show. Now, gentlemen, we have this key issue to talk about also relative to our discussions. We are quite aware that the government is facing three major high-profile cases. Earlier listed them: government of Liberia versus Speaker Kofa and others. Government of Liberia versus former finance minister Sandra Tuwe, and government of Liberia versus Kemian, Mirabro, and others. Gentlemen, the case continues to be piled up, and given the justice system we have, given the processes that involved prosecution, gentlemen, do you think the government is proceeding well with piling up the cases and doing what it is doing? Do you think the government is proceeding well? We haven't yet completed one case. We jump into another one. Let me begin with you, Gonkwe.
Well, as to whether the government is proceeding well by piling up cases, and some of you follow me over the years, I think I'm one of the advocates for the establishment of the anti-corruption court, so that we can be able to fast-track corruption cases. I'm one of the advocates for corruption to be non-bailable in the country. With the current, system at the judiciary, in which, we have term of court, people appearing for a specific terms, I think it's going to be a long haul. We might not finish some of the cases in the next 4 years or in the next 5 years. We might see some of the cases entering the next, government. So it is a challenge for the fight against corruption. And for any reason, the people of the previous, government that are being currently investigated or tried at a court, if we don't conclude these cases and we go to the next government, any opposition victory will set these people free. So it will just appear like, instead of fighting corruption, we are just helping people to become richer and richer and richer. I think there is a need for President Bouakai, is if he really serious and determined about the fight against corruption, there's a need for him to submit a bill at the legislature calling for the establishment of anti-corruption court that will help us to fast track corruption cases. In terms of the arrest, yes, it is a good thing that the government is doing to arrest people that have alleged to have stolen from the country. We should not, like I said, we should not support any form of corruption. Those who continue to steal from the country, Sobo George, they are stealing from themselves, their kids, the children in Bokonjide, the children in West Point. Every time I travel across Monrovia, I see the young people. I see how, people life being destituted. I see poverty in the faces of people. We can only derive.
Hello? It seems that he's gone off. You're listening to the Nighttime Heat right here on Prom FM 105.5. Again, we are streaming live on our Facebook page, Nighttime Heat Facebook page. Just make sure you tap the Nighttime Heat, the 3 words, and you're going to watch the show. You also share the show. Okay, David, let's hear from you.
Yeah, thank you. About 20 years ago, there was a book written by somebody titled, Liberians are like fish in water, but yet they are thirsty. That simply means we have the resources. We are rich when it comes to the resources. We have everything here, diamond, gold, this and that. But we are still poor because of one major thing, corruption, dishonesty. So the Unity Party has 12 years to be in power. So I don't see why you're talking about delay. No, this is just the first time. Now, all of the cases, we can't say we're going to grab one case, turn around it for 2 years, grab another case, turn around for another 2 years. These things have to be tackled simultaneously. So, in my opinion,
when you talk about David, when you talk about simultaneously, do we have the courts? Do we have the capacity? Are there lawyers? Yeah, we are. We still grappling with the case involving former Speaker Kofa. Up to present, we just heard that the prosecution, the court has denied the prosecution request for their bill to be rejected, and then we've come with another case involving Kenya. Do we have the capacity, David? This is what we're talking about.
We should have the honesty, the willingness, the willpower, not the capacity financially. The money, even if money is there, and we don't have the willpower. You got to remember one thing, Saba. The courts have terms. October term, March term, this, that, they have terms. So I don't think there's any delay in this, and I don't think we should delay with anything by taking things step by step. Whatever we can grab now, we grab it. The Samuel 12 case is in court.
It's something called it's one thing, Mr. Cody, it's one thing to grab people, put them behind bars, another thing to prove what you are grabbing them for. At the end of the day, the prosecution receives bloody nose, and then we all start the opposition start to laugh at the government's corruption cases, corruption fight. That's the issue that we raise. And do you think the government does have the capacity to deal with the case that is compiling? We've had the first case of former Speaker Kofa, then another case of former Finance Minister Tuwe. Now there's new case of Kemoya and Mirabro and the rest of it.
The government does have the willpower. When it comes to financial capacity, yes, we need to find the money. And this is not about opposition and imposition or ruling position. No. It's about everybody's right. This is why I
Okay.
feel so sick. This is why I feel so sick.
Let me hold you there and hear from one to tier 1 to we have three. The government has three major high-profile cases. Do you think that the capacity is there to really deal with these cases to the latter?
Yeah, it's not just the capacity. There's very interesting thing as the selective justice. And the reason why I lay out this is because there was a very important piece written by the former Auditor General, John Molu, where he discounted President Barker recovery as a recovery team. And this is what he said. He said corruption control requires solid and sustained action, not political grandstanding, embedded in deceit and hypocrisy. The executive order to establish the asset recovery team from the very beginning is a mere post story on the part of President Barker. And he argued on a lot of things here. He argued on one. He said JMB is working via work, which will use some result, but asset recovery must go beyond just the President we are tenure. And this is the argument. If President Barker is very very much passionate about any corruption, let's visit some of the high-profile corruption cases. We have the former commerce minister was suspended from this country with absolutely no prosecution investigation. He walks free. We can go definitely to NOCA. The former chair lady of NOCA walks free. No, in fact, the entire case now we don't know what's the update. And I could lay out many cases as possible. So it wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't a coincidence when the NAMO report laid out that there is zero prosecuting power on President Barker, because this is a flamboyant scam. This is what President Barker wants Liberian to believe. He wants to believe that the president is tough on corruption and absolutely no prosecution. Until we have prosecuting case in this country, until we can be able to find out for single evidence of persecution, President Barker is basically playing a political grandstanding.
Okay, let's see here.
In the last years, until we can be able to move beyond just opposition or being targeted by corruption and asset recovery watchdog to targeting very immediate past member in the current government, then we know President Barker is fair and balanced and leading a nationalistic effort. And
okay. Okay. So let's leave you there. One to and allow your other colleagues to speak. Yeah, come in.
I was on then the internet, so I got disconnected. But again, I listened to my dear brother, talking about people being prosecuted from the immediate past regime that are currently in the government. Now, I think they were in power for 6 years. Considering the limitations of our judicial, process, meaning there's no special law court to deal with corruption. And this is just one of the challenges we have with fighting corruption. We need to deal with that firstly. The idea of arresting people, sending them to court is good, but Wanto and others, that want to see this new Liberia, we need to embrace President Boakai's stand, because some of the people, just even the little action of suspending people, some of the people that are being suspended by President Boakai are people that are very close and dear to President Boakai. And he's mustering that courage to suspend them. It's something we all need to applaud. However, what we as patriots, those of us who consider ourselves voice of the people, or voices of the people, we need to then begin to pressurize President Boakai to submit a bill. And I want to see my brother Wanto joining me on this one. We need to pressurize President Boakai to submit a bill at the legislature that will call for a specialized court that will, be utilized to prosecute corrupt government officials. Because if we don't do that, even if CDC, for any reason emerge victorious in the future, that was even if, which I don't see possible. I don't see them coming near power anywhere near. But even if
you also want to
we're increasing disappointment in the regime. We see you on board, Johnny says in 2029.
Well,
which I don't see possible that CDC can ever come near power.
The power is clear. I don't know which one statistic you're looking at.
But I don't see the power. But here's a fact. Even if that happens in the future, you need a specialized court that will begin to prosecute corrupt government officials. Other than that, you will prosecute. Remember, we have a very small, national budget to prosecute one case. The budget for that case to mobilize evidence, to put investigator on the field, to gather evidence, to pay the lawyer, and all of that. It requires a lot of spending. So to prosecute one single case, it's going to cost the government hundreds of thousands of dollars. Are we going to succeed in prosecuting, 100 to 200 people in the court? Absolutely not. So we need a specialized court to deal with corruption. Other than that, all of the reform you're talking about, we need to reform this thing, we need to reform. You create the reform mechanism, people will still see. Even in developing countries like Ghana, where countries that are developed in America, see the lapses in the judicial system. See the lapses in the judicial system in America. See the flaws in the judicial system in America. See the flaws in the judicial system in the UK. There is nowhere where there's 100% legal system. We can only
And let me support let me support Mr. Gwankwa a little bit. Saba, just 1 minute. This issue about government not doing this and not doing it's almost like when you are in the interior and you have a son or daughter in Monrovia. All your daughter or son is in Monrovia doing well. Whether he's pushing wheelbarrow. I can even compare that to Liberia in America. Most people do not know that a lot of people in America, not only Liberians, are catching hell, even Americans, sleeping in the streets, no home, millions of them begging in the streets every day for food. You got 5, 6 persons sleeping in one bedroom. But when you see those guys in America on television or whatever, or when they come for vacation, you think they are okay. No, most of them are catching hell.
What are you insinuating?
Yes. Don't say that this government should do everything at one time or the government is failing. At least we can hear about access declaration these days. At least we can hear
Other campaigning that we have the most incompetent government.
May I finish? Nobody hearing also. Nobody hearing us. You are coming. You are coming. Wait a minute. You are coming.
Yeah, someone, can you please redirect the discussion?
Okay, please, Mr. Koti. Want to let Mr. Koti learn quickly. We have to go to another issue for the opening line.
Don't worry, I'm here for you today. We'll talk.
Yes, please. Yes.
At least this day we can hear about arrest. We can hear about suspension. We can hear about dismissal. But that government, my brother, nothing like that. In fact, if you wanted to be a good friend of that whole government, you must be a criminal. Oh, yes. Look, let me tell you something. Don't waste your time. Don't just mention something here and you're taking it for a joke. You will never smell the executive mansion again. That's your other thing you're doing.
One thing you can respond now quickly because we have another aspect of our discussion to go to quickly before opening lines.
Let me tell you, Sabah. It's a very fascinating. It's a very fascinating comic performance from David Koti, the guy who campaigned with the Unity Party, saying that governance is at the all-time low. That JMB is coming to change Liberia. Look, let me tell you, President Parker saying 100 days, no car will be stuck in Liberia. And now you're telling us to give you a chance after almost 2 years? It's a sheer hypocrisy in itself. The expert, the presumed expert are not asking for time. How many time you want? After almost 2 years, you're begging for time on the national station? I don't think this is the best mouthpiece of President Parker. I'm sure they might be disappointed that today the mouthpiece is begging Liberians to give President Parker more time. In a country where inflation is at an all-time high, unemployment is skyrocketing, especially among young people. Today, there is no identity of the government in itself. The government just celebrated 2 warlords today after they just announced that they are persecuting warlords. The contradiction is at an
Yeah,
all-time high.
Sawa,
This
Sawa.
is the situation.
I
The
think this
situation
discussion
here,
is
situation
off
here is
tangent now.
Okay.
that
You guys
Okay.
are going
Okay.
off tangent. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Want to thank you. Made your point.
There's no
Want
tangent
to
here.
thank you. Made your point. You made your point. You made your point. So very shortly we'll open the lines, gentlemen. But first, before we can open the lines, I want us to look at a major aspect that also has connection, to what we're talking about. If in a month time we heard about the suspension, am I right?
Yeah.
We heard about the suspension of 4 current government officials. And let me hear from you, Gonkwa, let me begin with you. What does that indicate on the part of this government or on the part of the president suspending 4 of his officials just in a month's time? What does it indicate? Gonkwa? Hello? It seems Gonkwa is
Okay,
off. Okay. So let's hear from David Cody. David, what does that indicate? I'm sure you heard the question.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm very sorry. All right.
Okay, let's hear.
I'm back. Okay. It simply means that this government is different from the past government, 150%. In just 1 month, 4 suspensions. But in 6 years, we never heard about anything like that. I hear the man talking about the government has been in power for 2 years and this has not happened. You were in power for 6 years. In your own home, Grand Crew, you rode plane to go and campaign to vote. You had no electricity, not even candlelight. Go to Grand Crew today. You see electricity all over. Go to Manjubi today. Streets all over. So I beg you, man, the arrest of these people, the suspension simply means that this government is ready to fight corruption. More will come. In a few months from now, you're going to hear hundreds of them being arrested and sent to jail.
Okay, so let's hear from you. What does
very, very interesting. Again, like I said, we're not against clamping down on corruption. I support a holistic national effort of corruption. But what we lay out here is a consistent pattern of selected justice. And that's the reality. The reality here is that there have been a lot of criticism, even a very asset recovery team. A team member was here right now.
we are we are now talking about the suspension of 4 officials in the current government. What does that indicate on the part of the president?
What I'm saying, suspension does not warrant to persecution. We need persecution to be able to see how whether the president is. Primarily, suspension could be a political plot to be able to give the president more public perception. And that's the reality. The reality here is you have increasing public perception, and there's no ultimate conclusion on that entire proceeding. The final thing Mr. Koti spoke about Grand Crew not having light. Interestingly, President Baga went to Bopolu City to erect a hand pump. The last time President Weah was in Bopolu City, that was to erect the 100-bedding hospital in Bopolu City. The Emory Hospital today, providing healthcare system, was erected by President Weah. I don't think this conversation is about developmental outcome because obviously, between President Baga and Weah will go through a developmental outcome. President Baga have not demonstrated absolutely nothing. We are infrastructure. Yeah.
Okay, let's go with that, Mr. Wanto.
Can we come back to the discussion? Yes.
Moses, let's hear from you, and then later on open our lines quickly. We hear from you. Hear from Judge Kennedy.
George.
Yeah, quickly.
Okay, he's back. Gonkwa is back. Yes, Gonkwa, we're asking the question with the suspension of 4 current officials just in the month. What does that indicate?
Look, this is a thing that President Waka commitment during the campaign that he will fight corruption. That he meant that when he said that he's going to fight corruption. It's a thing that, like I said earlier, for example, the guy from MCSS, this guy is very close to President Waka. The fact that President Waka would not blind his eyes, like what happened with Samuel Tuer. When Samuel Tuer was Minister of Finance, the whole issue of the misappropriation of $24 million in the MOPA exercise came out. What did President Weah do at the time? He did absolutely nothing. There were, rumors of corruption with Nathaniel McGill. What did President Weah do? Nothing. There were people very close to President Weah during his 6 years administration accused of corruption. He did absolutely nothing. Here we
Even
are.
sanctioned by the United
Yeah, here we are with President Boakai suspending people that are very close to him. I mean, I've always said there's no perfect human being in the world. There is no perfect presidency in the world. There is no perfect system of governance in the world. What you want from the leader is that courage to begin to take some initial step. What President Boakai has demonstrated over the last few weeks is that courage that yes, we are moving towards a system of fighting corruption. We must applaud
Okay.
him, must encourage him. We must now move to one step. All that I want from President Waka now is please submit a bill at the legislature that will make corruption non-biddable. Because if we have corruption as a non-biddable offense, those that are being suspended now will be taking their bath at the Morovia Central Prison. They will be sitting down there, sitting with the Zogo, smelling the same stink that the Zogo are smelling. They will not be staying down at their homes. I want look, if President Boakai do this for us in this country, I will put him on my back. If President Boakai can submit a bill that will make corruption non-biddable, that will establish a corruption code, I will put him on my back. We need it in
Okay.
the of the initial step as President Boakai.
Thank you, Mr. Gonkwe. Let me hear from Moses and then George Kennedy quickly, and then we'll open the lines.
Look, quickly, I would like to begin on this. The proposition from my brother Emmanuel Gonkwe for President Boakai to make acts of corruption, or charges, regarding corruption and non-biddable offense. I beg to differ. Acts of corruption are not considered, capital offenses. Acts of corruption is not murder. Murder is a capital offense. That's why it is non-billable. So if someone, take for example, let me use myself as an example. Say I come back to Liberia today and working as a deputy minister in any of the administration, and someone accused me of stealing $20,000-$30,000. Are you telling me that I should not get, a bond? I should just be thrown into prison on that basis? That would be the worst thing that would be the worst thing that any government would do. People should be given the opportunity. Listen, let me complete, sir. Emmanuel, let me complete. So that would be the worst decision that any government will make. Even where I sit, acts of dishonesty are available in the United States. They don't just throw you into prison and say you're there for years. You go through the legal process. That's how it works. Okay, now let me say this. I think the action taken by the president by suspending key people in his administration is a giant leap. It's very significant. It sets a very good example for the fight against corruption. Take for example, my own former boss, Arthur Massacre, the head of the SOE. Mr. Massacre is a very close person. But Mr. Boakai suspended him because he was accused of what? Acts of dishonesty. And other people who are very close to him, like the guy from LTA, I am told is a family member. He suspended them. For the last 6 years, when George Weah was president, never, Mr. Gonkwe spoke about that. The $25 million taken from the government's coffer for mop-up exercise Samuel 12 was in the media saying that that money was taken to Nuclear and dish out to money exchangers. George Weah did nothing. The only leadership in the history of Liberia that has the highest number of public officials on U.S. sanctioned list for acts of dishonesty is the Weah administration. Go and do the research. The data is out there. You know, so I think President Bouakai is treading a very good path, and this will be my advice to him. Yes, it is good that you're suspending people, you're holding people accountable, but we want to see these probes coming to an end.
Okay,
Let us see that people be prosecuted to the fullest.
Okay,
Thank you.
let's hold them, Moses. George.
Yes,
Yes.
I support the call for anti-corruption court. The LACC has been advocating for this for some time now. Even in their March, the first quarter report, they had appealing to the government to establish anti-corruption court. And when it comes to investigation, there's a statute of limitation. The reason why it's difficult sometimes to go way back to Madam Salif is because our law provides for statute of limitation. I think Senator DeLong and others are working on a bill to make corruption, to remove that statute of limitation, which I think will be very, very important. Another issue is that all suspended officials of this administration, the 4 that we're talking about, they have all been turned over to the LACC for investigation. So the LACC is very overwhelmed right now. And the president did not just suspend them and say, go and sit down. The president suspended them and turned them over to investigation. The LACC is looking into the matter, like the case with, how to call it, the electoral RC. I think they completed, I think the guys, I think Awozi, he won his case at LACC. So those type of issues, they are very necessary in our democracy. I think the president must be commended for this. It doesn't mean that those are accused, they are guilty. They are going to face the LACC. If they are clear, definitely they'll get a green light.
Okay, you're listening to the Nighttime Heat. It's time that we turn on to the our listeners, our viewers. Some of them want to call on 0778 460 793. That's the number to call, 0778 460 793. That's the number to call, and you are live on the Nighttime Heat tonight. Again, 0778 460 793. You call this number, you are live on the program tonight. Let's take the first caller on the line. Good evening. 0778 460 793. That's the number to call, and you are live on the Nighttime Heat. Again, 0778 460 793. Good evening. Good evening. Hello. It seems that we should have we'll have some technical problem. What's happening again to the phone? Good evening.
Hello?
Yeah. Good evening. Good evening, sir. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, I want to thank you people for the show.
Okay.
I want to compliment David Koti, for his brilliant exposé tonight. Yeah, the issue of Wanto, I don't know. Wanto, there's a man who was supporting Koji, like the died. Koji then went at UL and they had Amos Sawyer a memorial on it. The brutalized students there. He wanted to support Koji. He never wanted to condemn it. He supported Akara Grady that went in and brutalized people all around here. There was a lot of excesses that was done on George Weah again. There was no condemnation for this young man who claimed to be your advocate and what have you. Today he's coming out trying to denigrate President Bouakai. That is very much unfortunate for a man who is trying, an older man who is trying to clean up this mess, the excesses that have been left behind, and pave the way for the younger generation. You cannot do that to us when they want to. Thank you.
Okay, let's get another call on the line quickly. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Sobo.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
So I'm Imon Revio. Let me say good evening to all of your panelists and the guests. My name is Tixilas Tito Belisaki. So Sobo, let me use one stone to kill 3 birds. Again, I want to, remind, or I want to, this administration of President Barker, it's a very serious administration than the one of former President William. You heard one of the guests telling, not the guest, but host telling you that unlike the Mr. Williams administration, where we talk about 25 million there and a structure about Samuel and President, we have no action. President Barker is taking action with people who are close to him, very close to him. Look, so when Wonto comes and says the fact that this corruption is not holistic, it is not being honest with the Nigerian people. He's not being honest. I thought Wonto, having graduated, will come and put, Dr. Fambude said, a degree that is not placed to the service of the people is the useless degree. And that is what Wonto is trying to tell us. Because I thought Wonto would be using this degree to commending President Barker. Look, Wonto said the police action was wrong. Like David Kochi said, let's hear from the police. You don't know what the police went through before going, for Mary Fraud.
Okay, let's take another call on the line quickly. Good evening.
So thank you. Good evening. This
Yes,
is
sir.
Professor Prince Kolake. I'm from District 5. So I'm constrained to call, having listened to the analysis of Mr. David Kochi. Something baffles me because I can recall when the CDC regime, when they were desperately performing, I have had a studio appearance with Pascal David. We were discussing the Brother Samoka and that of the Republic of Liberia. On that show, Mr. Kochi called in defense of Pascal David, people defender. In fact, he praised the Georgia government. So for him today to come make me to believe that the Georgia government definitely performed when we were saying it, what the Mr. Kochi was doing, he was talking about being a movement to honor President. We had a time. Where are we? What legacy? I listened to his voice today. I feel irritated.
Okay, you feel irritated. You feel irritated.
So the issue,
Quickly.
I think we must commend the government. Some of us are critical on the government, though we voted for them during the runoff election. When they do what is right, we will talk. When they do what is wrong, we will talk. So for the issue of suspension, prosecution, what I feel, we never saw it. I think these are some of those things we were calling for a few years back. But
Okay.
in fact, they told us they will counter-protest us. Today, you hear sedition and quoting.
Okay, let's take another call on the line. You made your point already. Good evening. Good evening. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
So let me say this one. Tier 1 to tier 1. So you claim it to be maybe you have but let me say this to you. The government is so much government, not like your we have government that see everything, everything will not go. But let me say this to you that if we the like God want transparency, accountability, and credibility, the government can there. Even if church we are, because of financial malpractice, there are people who will go to jail. So see your government still can. But let me say this. Someone to yourself, to your house or problem. You don't have no different panelists that want to. What do you want to get to tell us? Well, it's different all the wrong yesterday. That kind of people, they're not credible, they're not transparent. They don't even get more to come say. So why you coming to tell that people?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. You made a point already. You made a point. We can continue with you on the line, honestly. Let's take another call on the line. Good evening. Good evening.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm Amos Johnson calling you from Congo Town.
Okay.
I just want to congratulate the president upon what he's doing. I think when we follow the footprint of what the president has started, I think this country will move forward. Thank you very much.
Okay, many thanks. So let's get another call on the line. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, my brother.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, this is Harry Mordecai from Panama.
Okay.
My brother, I think this country will need to hear serious things in our ear. People are in power for 6 good years, yeah. Our country wasn't moved free. Everybody was just their own hostage. Okay, we protest in this country, CDC protest for what? All the protests they've been having, it was for these things that Bouaga doing. What are you against it today? If you really love Liberia, you must go and celebrate Bouaga, things that he's trying to put in order for this country. Bouaga is the best leader ever. My vote will never regret my vote for you, Party. Thank you.
Okay, many thanks. Let's take another call on the line. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm okay, sir. Your name and where you calling from?
This is Pastor David for this state.
Okay, Pascal.
So for us, we equally didn't regret Mr. Bouaga winning. Because if you have won, they will still believe that he could make it. Thank God he won. And, you know, so he can hold for all of the stadiums that are always associated with soccer. So, for what? The minister went before the legislature. That place is a dead heat. He went there and said, I apologize, I'm on my name. I drove that place for church. He said, I'm supposed to use this, use this. My people, in simple common sense, that's stealing. That's stealing. When you're supposed to use it, and you don't use it, you're wrong. For this thing, man, we're fighting people for 400,000. That's all 1.6 million to buy less of cars. Two, you know the age of but guess what? You tell the guy which car is in Grand Judea now? That the one with your right. That be criminal.
Okay. Let's take another call on the line quickly. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
My name is Molly Saka calling from Pillsbury.
Okay.
Yeah, good president. I'm your president. Bouaga won election, and then they started suspending people. But my problem there is the suspension is just suspension with pay or without pay, with benefit or without benefit. Just suspension. Look, I heard somebody say that the guy from the TRRC, he had been investigated and set free with all the allegations. So that suspension, like for example, Maka Belete, she went and then negotiated for 285 machine for $85 million. How can that $85 million came to $22 million or less than that? And then there has been no action taken against Maka Belete. She stay with the president. The Minister of State, you are accused of misusing or taking $500,000 from the government corporate and bought car. There's no account. You understand? But in suspension, as Bouaga suspend his official, then he will go after CDC people. So it's a cover up for me. It's a cover up.
Okay.
So let me just do this and then go after CDC people. So that
okay. Many thanks. You make a point. Let's take another call on the line. Good evening.
How you doing? How you doing?
Yes, I'm okay. Your name and where you calling from?
I'm Jim Siankwe. I'm very blessed to be on your show tonight. I've been trying to up on Norway. I listen go to them on the show, Jim Siankwe from Wall Street.
Okay.
The host, let me say this. I'm very happy talking to Wanto T and Wanto today. Wanto T and Wanto, George, we are coming back to this country to be president again, my brother. It will be very difficult. Most of your ministers, one of your ministers to GSL, his girlfriend reported me to him. The man is a private security can arrest me. And later, the community had to wrestle against him before he went to send a depot to say police to contact me to police depot to send a depot there. The man spent money and put me in jail. I spent 1 night. The next day, when they free me, the man king was court. The king after me, they carried me to court. We want to, we got to tell you, we'll call your wife. Now the man I think he doing something about to JFK. After that, we attack him. But if that man, he won't be like that, will be in government, just for girlfriend attacking people in community. Then you want all the give state power to him again.
Okay, you make a point. Let's get another call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Good evening, Sabo.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
So I want to thank you for the next time, the nighttime heat becoming very energized. I'd like to say hi to your panelists. How you doing?
Well, I'm okay. Thank you.
My name is Pony. I'm popularly known as Irresistible Pony Jr.
We know Pony.
And I speak from Morovia. I'd like to say excellent, Sobo, on a Friday.
Okay.
Sobo, the last time prior to 2025 election, the last time our country ever came under sanction and embargo were during the President Taylor regime. Internationally, our country was back under President Weah. I want to be honest. Apart from senior government officials being sanctioned, a congressman on a very strategic committee referred to our government as kleptocratics. And even the elementary dictionary definition can tell you that a group of thieves arose. So I feel very bad. On the international front, we were respected. It's not over yet, but President Bouaka is doing a remarkable and laudable job. You can't keep the individual in the position. You should have him suspended, being investigated, indicted, and prosecuted. The rule of law is taking its course. All of those who were paraded to the court and taken to the sub-bench, their offense were bailable, and they got their bail, and they are out. So, but let me say this to you before I leave the line. Even if they appoint you sober down there, you'll be rule. Even Apuni here, David Kotti will be rule. Wanto will be rule. Even Moses will be rule. Our country problem has been impunity, corruption, impunity, lack of merit system. Those are the key. In one of my development study class, there's a master program at the Cotton Graduate School. Corruption, impunity has been. So you can be rule. Chancellor be rule. Mrs. Salif be rule. Joshua be rule. Bouaka will equally be rule. He has not been about rule. The lack of impunity has lacking our country behind, and we think the president is on the right trajectory. It should be holistic, and people should be prosecuted and be brought to book.
Okay.
Thank you, Saba. We are following the show. It's a beautiful show.
Okay. Thank you, Pony. Let's get another call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. John.
Yes, sir.
And a major good evening to your guests.
Okay.
I mean, your panelists. My name is Ali Padikuma, my picking family. I call you running for you. No, Mr. John, what I sensing from we the young people. I think our thinking before is not the same thinking now. Our thinking is changing. I want to commend every young person in this country that trying to see how best so that we all can get together and fight the particular thing for corruption. The particular name I made today won't get good road, won't get good school, won't get any good thing in this country that we chasing. Baby, there, several Ghana around here, like moving forward, like bro, still going beyond. So when girls want to, oh man, like somebody and want to let the boy in cast, we talking from that to kind of pull the country on the rebel bar and try to pull the country on the rebel bar and want to be the only way something. If you know you are whispering the country anyway, we are calling President Bouaka to go there and want to, and he said, Mr. Sobo. Some of all we can put fire behind the NCC because if people are in the particular government, like Corolla, the president suspending, saying that for investigation, NCC waste time. We want a particular people like that the president make sure and take action because we don't want no pick and choose. We serious about it. Thank you very much.
Okay, many thanks also. Many thanks. 0778-460-793. That's the number to call. 0778-460-793. That's the number to call. And you are live on the Nighttime Heat. Again, 0778-460-793. We take a few calls until 10:20. Don't go back to our guest for the party comment, response, party comment, and then we end the show. Let's take another call on the line quickly. Good evening. Good evening. Hello? Hello? Good evening. 0778-460-793. That's the number to call. Again, 0778-460-793. You call this number, you are live on the Nighttime Heat. Red Tail on Prom FM 105.5. Let's get a call on the line. Good evening.
Good evening, Trevor.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Trevor, the fire Bouaka first 6 months after my vote will go in vain. But right now, I'm feeling too good about this country, what happening. Because on day one, we are now seeing what's happening. Even from the great day, chancellor or whatsoever, we never see government officials going to central prison. Even though posted are born about this, Bouaka is showing the Liberian for what can he do. We never saw things that in Joya. The father Joya to say, when we cry, Joya, no year cry one day. We cry on summer 12, take summer 12 for further ministry. In fact, they told summer 12 that when people that had nothing majority. When they continue crying, they'll move on. In fact, when you take your own, bring my own. And we saw when you deal with his own. So I need then program to go against Joya too. And take the law too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Many thanks. Let's take another call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Yeah, good afternoon, Brother George, and good afternoon, dear Good afternoon, dear listeners.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm teaching what he said to calling for the power of
Mhm.
First of all, when you get to what you with me, when you get children with long that woman there, the children in that leg, you can also let to treat them badly. When you when you love the woman, how much you can take care of it, you want the woman to feel bad, because you love that woman. And why you need to party community? I say those laughable better. Are you killing me? You telling me that the promise you trying to kill the power. You know where the tension basically up? The 12 years administration in power. If the tension coming on, you know how many people are going to be censoring for the puni? Are you killing me? When what party coming are gone? You know if will be censored. But after the 6 years, and nobody be censored in the government, you can't have your vote that job your government the censoring. Then they change the report your government and your government in power. Tell the American government that they put attention want to force the kingdom. You please help us with to do your guess, but the force the kingdom. You have the power in your hand, you got the map in your hand. Are you kidding me? What I tell you, this is not what's on. One of your official government, you suspend the mayor. You can't just prosecute, you take it out of pool, you have nothing, you can't to stop being finished. The area government, nobody was there. We were talking to my you were taking a assessment, we have no proof.
Okay. Okay, you made a point already. You made a point. Let's take another call on the line. I'm sure 3 more calls and we'll wrap it up, or 2 more calls will wrap it up. Good evening. Good evening.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, let's hear from you quickly.
Let me say good evening to your panelists for the brilliant cross coordinations of ideas and discussions surrounding the progress of our beloved country, Human Liberia, and we are very happy with them. But for the record, nation, Mr. Sabo, I'm Pokat Robert.
Okay.
And I joined you this
Just go ahead.
Yeah, and I joined you this evening for our unknown destinations. Mr. Sabo, there will be no country that does not want to progress, especially when something that is stopping their progress and somebody want to eradicate it or even get rid of it, then the people of that country won't be happy. We'll be very happy. If corruption is the backwardness of our country, while our country moving forward, and somebody want to eradicate it or even to deal with it, we are very happy of that person and we'll celebrate them, we'll support them. But it should be done holistically, not selectively. There's our point.
Okay.
Mr. Walker is not going back. I mean, you're not fighting corruption holistically. He is doing it selectively. He is wishing people. They say about nothing to sugarcoat. Mr. Walker actually for the corruption. It's a witch hunt. You want for corruption, you tap on the head. Tap on HEAD, the head. You got Marcus Beasley that took our 500,000 for NASCO with all the approval of the president.
Okay. Okay, let's take another call. The last caller so far. Good evening.
How are you doing?
I'm okay, sir. Let's hear from you.
My name is Cesare. I'm calling from Lisbon.
Okay.
Yeah, they said sometimes that witchcraft can be haunted. So we are here to craft. People do not want people to come from this country. Can you imagine that then in a country and the person is being arrested for good
morning.
So it means that most of the people that tell us from across the world are the ones that do not want to see the progress of this country. Because in terms of president, we are came to power is said that we are family, we are one people to the self of the difficult. And are you killing me? When you come to our state, what is us? What will be not the person that's bringing land where corruption because of the system.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Let's take the last caller on the line quickly. Let's take the last caller. Good evening.
Good afternoon. Good night. How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Mr. George, for the people saying President Boga bring her wish pound, it is not bad we let wish pound. Because for everything that's wishing can never shine. So we want for him to want all the wish for him Liberia so Liberia can shine. Because the wish crying Liberia, there are too many in our Liberia not shining. Because if you're trying to put the country together, you're trying to do what is right, people will come saying that only wish on, wish on. You know that you wish that. You know that you're suppressing the country. Somebody who cannot develop the country. The person comes and then they try to put it on the body wish on. So
Okay.
like, I don't understand what you really mean by wish on.
Okay.
Because
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You made a point. We are not taking additional calls, please. I think we've reached the end mark for calls. Let's try to go back to our studio guests. First, beginning with Gonkwe, the Mario Gonkwe, CRC of the Economic Freedom Fighter. Gonkwe, let's hear from you, your response and parting comment quickly. I'm sure you listen to the callers.
So thank you, Mr. George. Thank you, Moses. Thank you to Kennedy. What a wonderful show. So for me, at the moment, I would just tell dear brother Wanto that, when you listen to my comment earlier, that the CDC and Georgia would never see power again, you can clearly see that from the phone call. The citizen, based on their anxiety to see a responsible government going in the future, the anxiety of seeing a government that will be robust in fighting corruption and combating impunity. That anxiety, they are now beginning to have a sense of belongingness that they belong to this system that is trying to fight corruption. So therefore, the CDC and George Weah that lacks the ability, to fight impunity or to fight corruption would never come to power. So you saw that caller. So that would be my response. I just want to say thank you to for agreeing with me that George Weah will never see power again. Thank you.
Many thanks, Mr. Gonkwe. David Koti?
Thank you very much. And let me say many thanks to all of the callers. They were very straightforward. Only one person I want to respond to here. The man who said that when he and Pastor were on the radio one time, I called him praise Weah. That's not true. There's no recording anywhere that anybody can play or video that will ever show you that I ever praise Weah. On the issue of the monument, y'all don't understand anything. I was on every radio station telling you why we're doing this monument. Look, when I was Secretary General of IE during the administration of Sam Burnett, George Weah was playing for us. When I became Vice President for administration of IE during the administration of Wilbur Huff, Weah was still our good friend interacting with us. I even became an executive member of the LFA for 6 years. I'm a spokesperson. The monument was all about sports for George Weah. Nowhere in the world I will ever support Weah to become president anyway. Nowhere. Not even in Ukraine. I would never do that. So it was not about the presidency or politics. If Weah wants to be president for Ukraine today, I will tell the people, you will not do it. Because after 6 months, he will build 48 economy. Look, don't lie on me here. I have never supported Weah when it comes to politics. I was only doing this monument because of football. Thank you very much for the invitation, and thanks to all the comments. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, so supported Weah. You never said Weah was the best president, eh?
Never. Where? Show me the recording. Play it.
Let's hear from. I'm trying to search for the recording. I got it. I'll bring the recording next week.
My brother, let me tell you something. You know what you do for me? Someone do me a favor.
That recording, you're saying we are the best president.
Stop.
Yes, sir.
Do me one favor. Do me one favor. I want you to go to YouTube today. Go to YouTube tonight after the show
and put there Patrick Sowa on Flashpoint. SOWAH, Patrick Sowa on Flashpoint. You will see my compound where I live. I'm willing to give you the deed and give you this whole compound for yourself. If you ever play any recording where they say I praise when it comes to politics, I'll forget you my whole yard.
Okay, I'm coming for that compound because I got a recording.
Go to YouTube for that Patrick Sowa on Flashpoint.
Let's hear for 12. Let's hear for 1 2.
No, so yeah, only $500. I got a recording right now. That the recording just gave
Yeah, 1 2. Let's hear from you.
It's an interesting concept. We got more than 10 recording on you, endorsing. We are in 11. So let me tell you that for the fact that Derek Koti was the head of building a monument in celebrating Weah legacy and governance outcomes.
Football.
So we get a whole news outlet. You saying President Weah is a beacon of hope for the country. That's why you call it.
No trouble. Where?
Let me say this. In the 2023 presidential election, this is my response to Gongwe. It's a very interesting scenario. I studied public policy. I know political outcome in African political process. I do not think there's any determinant for the cause tonight to say this is why Weah is not coming back. The 2029 electoral process would not be justified by persecution or arrest or political or intimidation tactic. It will be the cost of living, how Liberians will be able to vote on their stomach, not speeches. The increasing unemployment. If President Bogart failed to absorb the rising youth unemployment, they will face rebellion at the ballot box. The corruption and hypocrisy in selected justice and unfulfilled permits will be a critical issue in 2029. Even developmental outcome. Nobody going to tell you because you went to Grand Judah County to bury the former president, that will give you outcome. People need their life to be changed. This is the progressive conversation we should have. The country is not, the country is stunted, and economically, even our inflation is high, unemployment is skyrocketing, and this is the point. I seen a lot of people say went to Oxford. I did not go to Oxford to praise President Barker. The best patriotic decision I can make as a Liberian is to make informed criticism on governance. And this is what we're doing. The reality here, let me just close in 1 minute. The reality
in a few seconds, not a minute, please. Got limited time.
Yeah, few seconds. And the reality here is that nothing has substantially changed in this government. And this is the point. And we can have a whole conversation on policy change and governance outcome. That's an interesting debate to have. And I will just stop there. Until that change, they are saying we are not coming back. It's an interesting song. But we'll see in 2029. We'll see in 2029.
Okay. Thank you, Wanto. And let me hear from George Kennedy, your parting, and then Moses, and we'll close up.
Thank you. I just want to say thanks to our guest. I think the debate was healthy. We listened to you, and the public made the decision, and whichever direction the call went to, is it. But I just want to remind us that the FRA case that involved former Minister Tue, the Financial Intelligence Agency case, is a case of the past regime based on GAC reports and others. And the arson case is a case that involves the current government official, all right? Not because they are quote and unquote from opposition political parties. Even someone who's from the rescue mission is also accused in this arson case. So I want to raise the issue of being biased on this and that. So Madam Broad and Kimaya case is a case from the past regime. And so let people get to be aware of these things to know where we are and where we're going.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moses, your parting comment quickly.
Yeah, quickly, I want to say that it was indeed a great show. And let me say thanks to everyone, including you and George, for helping to coordinate this. And to our guests, I also want to say thanks to them. My advice to the president would be that he must do everything to ensure that the gangsterism which was exhibited today by the quote unquote butt naked, we don't want those kind of behavior in our country. And Yeke Koruba too, he's a lawmaker. He has to learn to conduct himself appropriately. He cannot be a distraction all the time. That just defeats the purpose. And many people will hold a view that he has some form of, emotional problem. He's just proving these people right every day, and that is bad. And lastly,
Okay.
I want to say that the president must ensure that all the individuals who he has suspended, that those people be given, that they track fast the cases and ensure that they are giving full prosecution to the letter. Thank you.
Okay, so let me thank our guest, Mr. Gonkwe, Emmanuel Gonkwe, CRC of the Economic Freedom Fighters. We really appreciate your time being here. We really relish that. Likewise, Mr. Wanto, Tia Wanto, we really relish your time being here. And Mr. David Koti as well. We want to thank all three of you for joining us tonight on the Nighttime Heat. And let me also recognize a few of our viewers. Teddy Amos Conto Jr. He's been watching from Gardnerville for his Gardnerville residence. Ophelia S. George says, I'm watching from home. Dauda Jabate from Tottenburg City. Shadrach Gwening, he's been watching from Yekepa Nimbakari. Pastor James Nupo Kozwa, he's been watching. He didn't say from where. T. Emmanuel S. Pan from Riverside City. Okay, been watching. Franklin E. Youngho Jr. from District 3, been watching. William Joma Gray from West Chester. Lincoln Thing, didn't say where he's been watching from. Daniel Gayon didn't say. Daniel Carr didn't say. Albert C. Weir didn't say. Josephine Johnson didn't say. Martin Clark Wallace Jr. didn't say. Nathaniel S. McConnell Jr. from Gardnerville, you've been watching. Gary Stone Nimble didn't say. Ibrahim Kali Amada didn't say. Roslyn Kamara didn't say. Tukba K. Molba Jr. didn't say. Aziko Mamba Besuson didn't say. Asel Tamba didn't say where he's been watching from. Emmanuel Snosio Gipli didn't say. Bobby Brown from Broadville, you've been watching. Mohammed S. Canning from Corwell, you've been watching. And Retta Koda Morgan didn't say where she has been watching from. Well, on behalf of everybody, including my producers, my co-hosts, I want to say thank you. If all goes well, I'm sure we'll have Mr. Clamanti on this program. The asset recovery team. We need to hear from them. Couple of concerns. So hopefully Monday we'll have them. Until then, Saba George is my name. Have a pleasant and a restful night.